everybody, I'm live. Welcome to more early morning barking. I forgot I was doing a show. I got caught up on something. Oh, it's not even 9 o'clock yet. It's not even 9 o'clock yet. Bugger that. Whatever here. What do we do? What? Hang on. Still don't have a Streamlabs Stream Deck thing that does stuff. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the live show. A bit more advertised than last week, which was not advertised at all. And so you all missed it. But that's fine. It's more my fault than anybody else's. Let's not get bogged down in whose fault things are and that sort of thing. We'll just go with it. You know, I'm drinking coffee. It's 26.5 degrees in here. It's still stupid temperature in this room here, so we'll have fans going and that sort of thing. The last few days have been fairly oppressive, to say the least. Yeah, still I feel the need to drink coffee, mainly because it's nearly night. It's basically 9 o'clock at night, and I'm old now. So that's just how it goes. It's a disgrace, and I'm sorry. But, you know, age comes to us all, and it's apparently coming to me. I'm still having trouble accepting this on a day-to-day basis. My narcissism generally keeps me nicely protected from it, but there are certain things that are really becoming harder to deny, if I'm perfectly honest. I don't run as many hours through the day anymore. It doesn't work. And you know what? There are people in my life now who are trying to and they think they're doing me good, right? They're trying to convince me that sometimes I get tired. And that I should, when that happens, I should go to bed. And I have disagreed with that all my life. I don't get tired. I can stay up all night if I want to. Shut up, Mum. And I'll be fine in the morning and all that sort of thing. And no, it's not quite working anymore. I am starting to get tired at night. Mainly also somebody's keep getting me up in the morning a lot now, which is it's probably good for me. It's one of those things. It's like I prefer it to sleeping in late, but it makes me tired. And now I have these weird, like, what do you call them? Normal sleep cycles. I see the morning times and that sort of thing, and I don't know quite what to make of it yet. I don't do anything until the afternoon, if that's any consolation. I just sit around doing bugger all. I've watched a lot of YouTube. I've watched a lot of TikTok, all that sort of thing. And this is how it goes. I'm gonna do a quick tweet out. I have to confess. I went and got my blue tick back today. I kind of just missed it. I don't know. I'm partly convinced that if I have it, it will help in some way. Plus, it does let me upload longer videos to Twitter, which I kind of like doing. So there is that. Hello, I'm good. Hello in the chat there. We'll wait for that thing to update. I'm good. Thank you for asking. How are you? How's everybody in my audience tonight? There will be more of us hopefully soon. Because I have nothing planned. I'm just going to ramble at you for like 2 hours. Which is not necessarily any good for anybody, but it is what it is now, isn't it? It is what it is, and we're just going to go with it. I used to do this for fun. And, well, it's still fun, isn't it? Anyway, I've been busy today. I haven't really. Let's define busy. So I've been having trouble getting started with stuff of late, like getting going in the day, starting my day, doing work, focusing. doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm very behind on a lot of things. And a lot of the things that I'm behind on are becoming a problem. Hi, Nick. Thank you very much. Good to have you here. Please feel free to interact as much as possible. Otherwise, I'm just going to ramble here. And if anyone wants to ask any questions about anything, hello, MCMJ. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the live stream. Talking about BPD and NPD, if you like, whatever. And ADHD, this is what's... So my executive dysfunction has been off the map lately, right? Like I was saying, there's so much stuff that I need to get done. And not in a kind of, oh, I'd like to do this kind of way, but in a, no, this must be done. This is important stuff, whatever it is. There's some tax stuff. There's some other student loan related stuff, bizarrely, that I have to take care of. Like the boring deal with life, sit down, make phone calls, fill out forms bit. And I can't do that. I can't bring myself to do it. I know I need to do it. I want to do it. It's there. I have everything I need to do it, but I cannot bring myself to do it. And over the last week or two, this problem has been spread out across the board. Like, not just like stuff like that I have to do, just like anything. And so I've been trying to work on ways to make stuff a bit more interesting and just whatever. Just make it a bit different, mix things up a bit, that sort of thing. So I today just got in my car and left the house. With nowhere particular to go. I ended up in Bradford. I'm going to try this again tomorrow. And this idea of like just going out into the world thinking, I'm going to make a video while I'm out. Right? Instead of doing this at home, I'm going to go somewhere to make a video. And it helped a lot. It helped a lot. Just like leaving the house, getting out, doing something, setting myself a task that was in some way work related. And it made it a bit more interesting, looking for somewhere I could sit and do this, doing it while I'm out, all that kind of thing. And so I think I might, on days when I'm struggling, you know, I need to get out and about and do stuff out and about, which I kind of like. So there's going to be more stuff with this. I've done a TikTok today that I was actually quite pleased with, believe it or not. And he's doing terribly badly. I nearly said it's doing terribly well, but that means a good thing. But also it is doing terribly well, if you know what I mean. Go and check out my TikTok if you haven't. MCMG needs to go and buy shoes. Honestly, right, if I could spend my days just buying shoes, I'd probably be okay with that for a while. Most of my... Let's bring up Facebook. You're going to have to just take my word for it on this. But as I scroll through Facebook, it is going to be... Usually, let's see. Usually we get trainer ads. There's a trainer ad. Oh, I want those trainers. Facebook is just showing me like trainers and watches that I want website now. So honestly, that another trainer ad. I want those as well. I really do want those. Trainer ad. That was for Vans. It just, because it knows I click on them now. Karen says, my therapist said I might be highly gifted. My old BPD diagnosis is uncertain now. In what way gifted? Explain, say more words, please, surrounding this, is my question. The high sensitivity of BPD is kind of emotional intelligence to me. Okay. This is the first time I've heard anything like this. But I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued. I mean, yeah, like, so gifted how? And how does that affect your BPD diagnosis? Can you not be very gifted and also have BPD? I'm genuinely just asking questions because I have no answers on this. Like I say, this is the first time I've ever encountered this.
But I've been on my best behavior
Oh,
all.
TikTok is playing noise. Don't do that. I don't know. I mean, what do we class as emotional intelligence anyway? I'm not entirely sure. Hang on. I'm looking things up. Bear with me. EQ, emotional intelligence, Wikipedia. Thank you. I've started a reading thing without my glasses up here. This is going to make me. We'll see how this goes. Emotional intelligence is most often defined as the ability to perceive, use, understand, manage, and handle emotions. That doesn't sound like BPD in the slightest. People with high emotional intelligence can recognize their own emotions and those of others, use emotional information to guide thinking and behavior, discern between different feelings and label them appropriately, and adjust emotions to adapt to environments. It starts off as something that sounds like BPD and then veers off massively. Because so much of this just doesn't sound like anything to do. This sounds like stuff. Emotional intelligence is something that I think we suffer from. We struggle with then if this is how we're defining it. Use emotional information to guide thinking and behavior. No, not this implies some sort of like decision made in that process, which is not how we work. Discern between different feelings and label them appropriately. What? No. And adjust emotions to adapt to environments. We're talking about people having great emotional control with high emotional intelligence. And that is not us, surely? Surely that's not us. I I don't know. I mean, look, this is one of like we all have an EQ, we all have an emotional quotient. Um, but hang on, let's look this up. Bear with me. Uh, how does it right? Early evidence indicated that outpatients with BPD compared to non-psychiatric controls have crucial deficits in the important domains of emotional intelligence. Right, okay. We have a paper. Results are preliminary. I hate that word. Preliminary analysis showed higher levels of EI, depression, and self-esteem in BPD group in comparison to healthy controls. Furthermore, our findings showed that high levels of addiction, potential BPD. What is this? From emotional intelligence to suicidality. Okay, this is not what we're looking for. You should read the titles of things. Oh god, there's a Dr. Fox video. I don't want to watch a Dr. Fox video. I'll watch a Dr. Grande video. So we'll come back to that. I'll come back to that. I can't now. Anyway, Nick's asked me a question. Hello. How would I approach difficulties in a long distance relationship with someone with BPD? I wouldn't have a long distance relationship. you know, uh, I know that's not necessarily an answer you want to hear. And look, I'm in poly relationships, in a poly relationship, and even I wouldn't do the long distance thing. I don't know. I guess it depends on the format of your long distance relationship. Is this someone that has like gone away temporarily, like say to university or something like that, or for work, or are you just in a relationship with someone who just lives a long way away? Because I couldn't, I wouldn't do that. This is just me. This is just me. I don't have any tips for it, by the way. It's a weird one. I think I'd find that harder than non-monogamy, which I don't find hard. Um, it's an odd one. And yet, look, I know people who have long distance relationships with partners they don't see very often at all, and that sort of thing, and they're fine with that, and that's fine. Um, I would struggle with that. I would struggle with that. I think I like to be able to see people regularly, and I need to be able to like be to have someone be part of my life requires regular interaction. I think. Ah, right. So you have a relationship with someone at university, and they live a 7 hour time difference away outside of term. That's a more common thing, I think, because you get people in your exact situation. Yeah, you meet someone at uni, and then when you're not at uni, they live miles away. Um, generally, I would just say with that one is just a well, don't struggle too much, because well, no, oh, hang on, I'm jumping the gun here. I'm jumping the gun. Sorry, the fan is gonna have to go on because it is not getting colder. Um, yeah, I don't feel like that is hitting me at all. How is that not hitting me? So, where were we? Long distance relationships. I mean, first of all, like, how bad can it be? Like, it's just holiday time from uni, right? So that's not too long, and do visits and stuff like that. So that's the thing. Um, but I would say, look, if this is something you're struggling with, uh, now, then it means you're not in a healthy state with this, right? I mean, what we're talking about is missing somebody and coping without somebody being there day to day. And if you're struggling when you're on holiday from uni, then look, you still got that same set of problems when you're with this person, that you're just not experiencing them as much because you're with that person, right? Essentially, what you're asking me is how do you deal with withdrawal? Imagine this person is your drug, right? You're asking me how do I deal with withdrawal from my drug? And yeah, the problem is you're on a drug. That makes no sense, does it? That's not a good analogy. I think. Do you understand what I'm trying to get at? This still making sense? Like you've got this whole. No, let me start again. You stumbled my brain. My brain has been. This is not blowing on me. It's so hot. comfortable in here. I should have done this show from a different room, but here we are. Right. So, if you're like favorite person in your partner, um, then you shouldn't be. That's the wrong thing. That's a bad thing. And you might not experience the withdrawal from your partner while you're with them, but that's because you're with them, but you're still you're still favorite personing them. That's a bad thing. That's something you want to avoid. So in actual fact, this time away from your partner could be very positive for you, right? Because your partner isn't going to be there 100% of the time for the rest of your life. You are going to have to cope with this. There may be times when this becomes a limiting thing in your life, right? And or your partner's life. If you're sort of in some way locked together physically like this and not in a fun way. And so my advice for you outside of term time when you're looking to cope with this is get busy, get doing stuff, get on with your life. Don't sit around moping saying how long is it until I get to see them again and all of that stuff, because you need to have faith in your relationship, thinking I am going to see them again. You need this level of security there. The continuation of your relationship shouldn't depend on you being together in term time and that sort of thing. So you need to find that security in that, which can only come from your partner and your relationship. But you need to stop worrying about that and get on with doing other stuff, right? Get on with being you. That's essentially what you're asking, I guess. Does that make sense, Nick? Am I making sense at all? You've all been very quiet. Which is fine, because I think it means you're all listening. Which is in itself a good thing. But if I'm making sense, Nick, yeah. You don't want to be caught up in missing somebody. Like, miss somebody, but it shouldn't be destroying your life, right? It shouldn't be the thing foremost on your mind at all times. You should be functional, right? You should be able to get on with your life. And it's all based around, I think, security, knowing that we're going to see somebody again, knowing that somebody loves us, knowing that somebody wants to be with us and that sort of thing. Having faith in our relationship, which can be a very difficult thing to do. And it depends where you are with your relationship at the moment. Also, try and remember, I don't know, relationships start out as fairly, what's the right word? Fickle things. And when I say start out, I mean when you're young, right? I wish I could go back to my younger self and all the times I was so caught up in the seriousness of like teenage, early 20s relationships and try and find some way of convincing myself how little any of it mattered. Because it felt like the most important, they felt like the most important things in the world at the time. And now you sort of realize just how unimportant those things were. And each relationship, while it feels like a big thing on its own, is a stepping stone in your life, is a step along the road and that sort of thing. And we take a lot of mini little steps at first before we take one big step. And maybe we take other big steps after that, There, we have a question. What should I do if I want a BPD evaluation? Depending on where you are, I'm more averse in UK stuff, obviously, but really simply, you either pay for it from a private uh therapist, or you go and speak to your GP. It's really that simple. Uh, don't decide what you have ahead of time. Um, go and tell your doctor how you feel, and they should be able to put you in touch with the right people, or refer you to the right people, or whatever. Um, what do you want your what do you want a BPD evaluation for? How, what, how are you feeling that you feel you want that? Because the thing I always talk about is having this attitude that whatever it is that's wrong, you need it sorting. You need that fixing. Feeling the way, you obviously don't feel great, otherwise you wouldn't be on YouTube watching live streams about BPD and NPD. That's fair enough. But you want that to end. Am I right? You want those bad feelings, bad times, sadness, depression, all of the crap that you're feeling to come to an end. And the best way to get what you want is to go to your doctor and tell them how you feel. Don't get caught up on diagnosis, on that sort of thing. Unless you're talking about, like, you need to fill out a form or something and you need something written down or whatever, then that changes the game somewhat. But generally, you just need fixing. And therapy will help. There are lots of other things that can help. The best thing is it all starts with going to see your doctor, one way or another. That's it. Unless you're gonna pay for things privately, and in which case, just going like, that's a Google search, therapists in my area, that kind of thing. And maybe things are quicker and easier that way, but it costs money. It's a difficult, only the answer to that question. I understand it's difficult. I would love to have private therapy. I would love to have a private ADHD assessment, but those are not cheap or free. And so I have to do what I have to do with it and wait. And that's the best advice I have, to be perfectly honest. And then I think even in the UK, the treatment you'll be offered, the ease with which you'll get it, all of that stuff. Uh, Despite the best efforts of the good people who work within the NHS, the government are gutting it and hurting it and all of that stuff. And so they find it, they're doing the best they can with limited resources and that sort of thing. So I'm aware things take time. Yeah, not deciding what you have ahead of time because you can't be sure because you're not a professional. Even then, right? Even then, and we've started tonight's live stream with somebody saying how their BPD diagnosis is uncertain now, and so this is why the professionals are not tripping over themselves to get you to get you a BPD diagnosis, right? You can be therapized. The verb to give therapy, that's the thing I just made up. It's a real word. Look it up. I've decided. You can be therapized without a distinct diagnosis. Okay? And so they aren't they aren't in a rush to give you a distinct diagnosis. They don't need to. It might do you more harm than good depending on your personality and what your issues are and all that sort of thing. Um and so look, it may well be that as you've been searching for answers, you've come across BPD, you're like, this sounds like me. And it may well be that you have BPD. That's, entirely possibly the case. But yeah, you need that professional evaluation. You need to just have somebody to talk to about stuff who can help you. I understand it. You want to understand. If you know you've got BPD, then at least you can go, well, hey, yeah, look, that's what it is. And I felt the same about it. I would rather know, and then you can point at stuff. You've got a thing. Like, look, I'm not nuts. It's this. I've got this problem. Here it is written down. And that does really help. Or can really help. AG is asking, can autistic meltdown look like NPD rage? I have no idea. I am completely knowledgeless about autism, unfortunately. Um so I don't know. I don't know that I've been in the presence of an autistic meltdown either. Um I guess maybe, but only to the most casual of outside observers. They're not really related or similar at all. They're not going to be coming from the same place. Autism is a very different thing to a cluster B personality disorder. So I don't know. Rage looks like rage, doesn't it? You know, it's when you're watching somebody have a rage. How can we can't say what's motivating that rage as an outside observer, especially if it's a complete and total stranger or something like that. We don't know. Rage looks like rage, and the same with it relating to ADHD. It all looks like rage, doesn't it? Frustration and throwing the toys out the pram, tantruming, all of that. There's lots of conditions that will make you throw tantrums and that sort of thing. Um, but yeah, as you're saying there in the chat, it would be common for people with autism to have comorbidities. And so that's going to all mix together in a certain way. I'm of the belief that when you have, and I'm prepared to be totally wrong with this, I'm just speaking from how I perceive my own experience and place within the world of mental health problems. That I feel when you have comorbidities, it's not like putting books on a shelf, right? You don't have I've got a BPD book, I've got an NPD book, I've got a ADHD book, I might have an autism book or whatever things, and they're there as separate, clear defined things on this shelf of your brain, but they are there. And I don't think it's like that. I think it's like mixing paint. Right? I think you have a little dab of BPD and a little spludge of NPD and a little smear of ADHD or whatever, and then that mixes together to make whatever color paint you end up with. Um, and that to me feels like a more accurate thing. And I base that on saying that when I look at my own conditions and comorbidities. I don't feel I go through NPD as in the same way as the people with just NPD, and I don't feel I go through BPD in the same way as the people with just BPD. I feel like it's a whole other thing that is a combination of the two, right? And it's not that I have the red thing and the blue thing, it's that I'm purple. Does that make sense? But I think I think we're paint color mixing. Um, it's especially within cluster B as well. But I think, yeah, when you mix in autism with stuff and all other kinds of comorbidities, and I think it's quite reasonable to understand that, once we're of a mindset, not well, susceptible to stuff, all of that, of course we all end up with comorbidities of various types. Of course we do. It makes perfect sense to me that we do. Um, and that's how I experience it. Uh, I don't know how correct that is from a psychological standpoint. I need to read more books, is the thing. That's what I need to do. I need to read more books about psychology and do you know, I went looking for anything in a bookshop today and found nothing. I was in a big Waterstones in Bradford and found nothing of interest. What, there are podcasts? Oh, because they're on Audible. Right. I'm looking for books. I need books. If anyone has any good Cluster B, NPD, BPD book recommendation, um, I'm open to suggestions. Oh, bloody Daniel Fox again. And that one's £102. Is that a textbook? That's a textbook. Sorry. What are we saying here in the chat? It's right. Autism, right, especially right. Still waiting for secondary mental health, thinking I have NPD, but I don't know. I let people say do mean things or not thoughtful of how I might feel. I don't know how to stand up for myself, and I'm afraid to speak up. That's very BPD. We have a tendency to sort of let people walk all over us because we're afraid that people will not like us as a result. Um, which is obviously not good for us, you know. Um, and it becomes, we have to do something. We have to get out of that. Being afraid to speak up. That's one of those rebalancing in life problems. ADHD have crazy amount of common comorbidities as people with ADHD are more likely to have BPD. Yeah, this is where I am. Oh, sometimes I act crazy. Is that a book to have a look? All right, living with borderline personality disorder. Okay, yeah. I hate when the Kindle versions are more money than the paperback versions because I don't want the paperback version. What is that? I have this lady at work. I told her I'm taking antidepressants, and later in the week I was getting chocolate from the vending machine, and she looked at me and called me fat. Later the day, she slapped me over the face with a bat. Is this just someone who just abuses and assaults you? Like, that's a hostile work environment kind of situation. Um, what the that's a serious what the fuck kind of thing. Um, there's really no defending that. Oh, I know that feeling. Even typing in this chat makes me feel quite afraid, really nervous, and a bit worried I will make a fool out of myself and be shamed over it for like a month or so. I do that too. If that's any help, I do that too. Um, not just on like YouTube's and stuff. I don't chat on YouTube live streams beyond this, but things like group chats on WhatsApp, stuff like that. I will sit and just analyze every single word I've written, every interaction, and like, oh, people didn't laugh at that. Did I annoy people? Did I send that too late? Do people roll their eyes every time I post anything? All this stuff, just total paranoia. Hi, Leo, how are you doing? And even then, doing it on posting in public, on forums, on chats and stuff like that, it's kind of there, but I avoid that. I'm good, thank you, Leo. Good to see you here. Welcome to the show. Yeah, AG, that person at work is that's just a horrid person. And yeah, you shouldn't have to work like that, dude. That's not a good working environment at all. Speak to your boss. That's just being bullied at work, which is just fucking horrible, really. Uh, so don't go through that. Basically, don't go through that. You know, because that is horrible. Thing's buzzing. Oh, never mind. Leo, you're going to send your boyfriend some of my YouTube videos for him to educate himself on. Thank you. Everybody share everything. Just send everybody my videos. It's amazing how many people are just either unaware of me or that's not amazing. Send my TikTok as well. People, I do so much stuff. And I think people don't know about it. But there is so much stuff that I do. You can get it all on earlymorningbarking.com. I'm just double checking it's still there. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. It's all still there. YouTube, TikTok, blog channel, Twitch. Where's my podcast? Shouldn't that be on there? Why isn't my podcast on there? Well, that needs changing, clearly. Because for God's sake, my Twitch channel is on there. Anyway. That's a glaring error. It should be up. I'm looking at it now. Earlymorningbarking.com. It's coming up as link space now. Oh, they've changed it, haven't they? Where is it now? I can't remember how I get into this. Oh, come on. I logged into that earlier. Like, that is a tiny bit concerning, honestly, that you tried to go to my website and it... All right, they've changed it. Streamlabs link space. Okay. Yes, we're still using that one. Log me in. I hate the numerous logins. I feel the need to put my podcast on it because it should damn well be on here. But yeah, no, it's all there. It's all there. It's linked on my Twitter bio and everything else. Definitely findable. And all that sort of... No, it's there. I mean, panic over. Panic over. AG, don't worry. Look, I have NPD and I'm in a relationship. Don't panic about it. Right? There are people in the world who are not just like immediately put off by you, and you can heal and get better. There she is. There you go. You see, it's true. You can be in a relationship with NPD. Absolutely. You need to not be hurting anybody. I mean, look, I'm saying this right now. I got in a relationship after doing a couple of years of therapy and that sort of thing. You know, I wasn't just... I'd learned the mistakes that I'd made. I'd learned the bad things that I did and all of that sort of thing. And I haven't done any of those old behaviors in this new relationship. It's 3 years. Did we forget our anniversary again? I'm I think that happened. Anyway, what's that? But we didn't. Happy anniversary, honey. That makes sense. Um, so I've learned all my bad behaviors, and I don't do them anymore. This is it. Um, I remember that we went to London, by the way. That's everybody. Of course, I remember that. It was wonderful. Um, but yeah, you might forget a few things. You might forget a few things, but you can be, you need to be, look, when you say you're afraid you can't be in a relationship because you've got NPD, like straight up, why? Like, what are you gonna do? What do you think the problems will be that will arise? Um, and do you think those problems are insurmountable in some way? Do you think you are doomed to repeat old patterns of behaviors and problems and other things like that because you have NPD? Because you seem the fact that you're asking these questions is a fairly positive thing. That's on a quest to becoming self-aware, which isn't the same as fixing stuff. But if you can, if you're aware of what your problems are, then you can be working to fix specific problems. So, like, you don't have to tell me here tonight, but like, yeah, if you are, if you're saying you can't have a relationship again because you have it, why? Um, and I think, once you start digging into that, you can actually say, hang on, of course I can. Because these problems are not insurmountable. These problems are not impossible to get through. You can do this. You just need to get on and do it. Um, and I would also say, like, don't don't let it all beat you down. Don't get beaten by it. Don't get wound up by it. Don't be like, oh, I don't deserve this. I can't have this. I shouldn't do this because I have NPD, BPD. Develop this very big fuck you attitude, right? I want these things in my life. Therefore, I am going to go and get them despite having to deal with BPD/NPD, whatever. Um, None of us are perfect. We all screw up. We all make mistakes. What's dumb is not learning from those mistakes, repeating those mistakes. Fool me once, shame on me, etc. Um, so learn and self-analyze. Ask yourself why you did things, what you can do to stop yourself doing them in the next instance. All of that sort of thing. If you want to talk through anything on a more personal level, I have one-to-one sessions available. You can book them at earlymorningbarking.com, which is definitely working. So now calling BPD NPD peer support. Because that seems a bit more appropriate. But yeah, go for it. Don't let this stuff beat you down. You know, if you want to talk through some stuff, we can do that in a one-to-one. That's all a doable thing. But, you know, apart from that, why did it do it that way? Anyway, I've got me playing with my own, with my website now. I need to stop doing this, but it's so, I need to. Yeah, it works on there. Anyway. How often are YouTube live? Right, so YouTube lives I do Monday nights, like this one. TikTok lives I do at sporadic weird times when I feel like it. Which is no good or use to you. I totally understand. I suggest you set alerts on TikTok if that's possible. I tell people to do that. I don't have any alerts set for when people go live, and I don't know how you set them. So I don't even know if that's the thing. I just assume it is. Also, follow me on Twitter at Barking or X. And you'll get alerts and stuff. I do want a lot more X followers. I'm trying to look at my. Do you know what? I've gotten distracted by this thing of my website. Oh, and it hasn't updated it. Are you going to update it? How do I make it do that? Right, I switched from Linktree to this, and this is not as good as Linktree. I'll be really honest with you. It's not as good as Linktree. But it is what it is. It's cheaper. Anyway. So yeah, follow me on Twitter, follow me on everything and all of that. There's links. There really are links to everything on earlymorningbarking.com. I promise there are. It's all there. It's all there. Look. Although it's not updating on my phone. See, that's annoying. Like, why would it not do that? Why would you not do that, Chrome? Nevertheless, it's there, it works. So there we go. Anyway, I'm going to toddle off. But it's been a delight. You guys try and... I will see you next week for more of this. We'll do more. Keep following me on TikTok and all of that. You'll get more. Honestly, just follow me on Twitter. You get alerts for everything. Book one-to-ones, all my social links, podcasts, other videos. I've started doing other weird stuff. Check out my Patreon with ASMR videos and all of that stuff as well. Links to everything on earlymorningbarking.com. You guys have been awesome. Thank you for chatting tonight. I really appreciate it. You've all done so well. You were all awesome. And I really appreciate you guys. And I hope to see you again soon. So, you take care. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.